The Baseball Hall of Fame is one of the most difficult Hall of Fames to make it into in all of sports. But I'm not here to talk about whether we should keep the Hall small or not. I want to talk to you about the most likely player from every single team in Major League Baseball to make the Hall of Fame. So these guys who I think have the best chance at the end of their career to eventually make it to Cooperstown. Doesn't mean that they're a Hall of Famer right now. Doesn't mean that they're going to be a Hall of Famer. All I'm saying is they got the best chance, because there's some teams on here, I'm not going to lie, they don't really have a guy who's going to make the Hall of Fame right now. So as always, tell me in the comment section below where you think I'm wrong and right, who you think the most likely Hall of Famer is from your favorite team, and let's get going into the video. For the Toronto Blue Jays, their most likely Hall of Famer on their roster right now, I'm going with Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette is one of 4 players in Major League history to play at least 50% of games at shortstop, have over 80 homers, over 300 runs batted in, and played in less than 600 games by the age of 25. The other 3 shortstops are Troy Tulowitzki, Nomar Garciaparra, and Hall of Famer Willie Wells. The other 2 guys I named were on Hall of Fame career paths, and I think Bo Bichette could be someday. Now, I don't think he's a guaranteed Hall of Fame, and there's still a lot left to go for Bo Bichette, but the power, the hit, the speed, the just overall baseball ability combined with the young age of Bo Bichette right now, he has all the makings of someone who eventually could find himself in the Hall of Fame one day. Oh, for the Angels, it's so tough. Shohei Ohtani's the best player we've ever seen, but Mike Trout is the answer for the question, who is the most likely Hall of Famer. Mike Trout, at age 32, has already accumulated 85.2 WAR in his career. That is absolutely disgusting, among some of the best of all time, and that's if he stopped playing today. Now, Mike Trout, of course, has had some injury concerns over the years, but the numbers are still absolutely disgusting, making him one of the best to ever do it. In 13 seasons, we're looking at 368 home runs, a 301 average with a 412 on base, 582 slugging, and 994 OPS, the best among active hitters. Mike Trout is an absolute freak. He could not play a single game the rest of his career, and he would be one of the best players ever. He is the most likely player on this team to make the Hall of Fame right now. For the Colorado Rockies, I mean, I went with Chris Bryant. He's basically the best player on this team, and he does still have some time left in his career. Another guy who cannot avoid the injury bug, has only played in 65 games this year and 42 last season. If he can ever get healthy, he could get closer to being back on track, but again, it's going to be an uphill battle. A crazy good start to his career with the Cubs. Bryant has slowed down a bit, although so far in the 9 seasons that he has played, he has accumulated about 28.5 WAR, and he is only 32 years of age. So with another 6 or 7 good seasons, he probably gets into the conversation of someone that might get a few votes, but there's just not a lot of choices here on the Colorado Rockies right now. For the Philadelphia Phillies, this pick was easy. It's Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper at age 30 has already accumulated 44.4 baseball reference WAR, and you know all about Bryce. He's 3 home runs off of 300, a 281 average, 390 on base, 520 slugging, and 909 OPS for his career. He's won 2 MVPs, a Rookie of the Year, multiple-time All-Star, one of the best hitters that we have seen in my generation. Bryce Harper is phenomenal. A player that was once deemed overrated is quite the opposite. He's an absolute stud, he's an absolute beast, and he is very much on a Hall of Fame track. It's crazy he'll go into the Hall of Fame as a Philly too. Like, that feels weird. For the New York Yankees, it was between Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole. I ended up going with Aaron Judge. Now again, the injuries scare me, and there's a world where Aaron Judge contract ages like milk. He does get hurt a little bit. His size concerns you as he gets older, but I mean, there's no doubt that he's a phenomenal baseball player. One of the 5 best in the league without a doubt right now. Even this year, in only 73 games, he has 28 home runs and a 1057 OPS. He's been one of the best players in the league, and he's played half the season. What makes Judge stand out from the rest and better than Garrett Cole right now is his historic home run pace. In 8 seasons, 248 home runs is a ton, especially considering 2 of those seasons weren't even close to real seasons. 2016 only played 27 games, and 2020 played 28. So you take away those 13 home runs in those 50 games, and you're looking at Aaron Judge having 235 home runs in 6 seasons. Absolutely disgusting. The power's crazy. He's accumulated 40 WAR already in his career. If he stays healthy, he's on a Hall of Fame path, no doubt, and he will go down as one of the Yankee greats. For the Cleveland Guardians, there's one pick. It's Jose Ramirez. He's one of the best Cleveland Guardians to ever play, a criminally underrated player in Major League Baseball, and just year after year after year, he continues to show why he's one of the best players in the league. Jose Ramirez already sitting at 44.6 baseball reference WAR through his age 31 season, putting him well on track to be on a Hall of Fame career path. A guy who's going to hit 200 plus home runs in his career, steal 200 plus bases, on base machine, never strikes out, hits for power, doubles, triples, good glove at third base, multiple time All-Star, top 5 in the MVP voting almost every single season, an extremely underappreciated player, one of the best third basemen we'll ever see. Keeping it in the AL Central, let's talk about the Chicago White Sox. I don't feel great about this one, but if I had to choose, it's going to be Luis Robert. The White Sox really don't have a great group of guys to pick from, and Robert is clearly the best. Now, he needs a lot of work to be done before we really start to talk about him as a possible Hall of Famer down the line, but he is only 26 years of age. He's already accumulated 12.2 baseball reference WAR, and that's really only he's really only played 1 season of 100 more games, and that's this year. So yes, while some of these seasons aren't completely his fault for not being able to play as much, we need to see a little bit more out of Luis Robert before we start putting him in that conversation. But right now, he is the best choice on the White Sox, and I don't really see anybody else. Age plays a big factor, and he's really good at a young age. Heading back out west for the San Diego Padres, a lot of good choices here, but I went with Manny Machado. Manny Machado will go down as one of the best third basemen to ever play the game. At age 31, he already has 54.6 baseball reference WAR, putting him very much on track to be a Hall of Famer someday. Machado brings a great bat with an elite glove, and while he has had a down season this year with the Padres, I mean, things have just been weird over there. You're looking at a guy who can lock in for 30 homers, 30 doubles, 100 RBIs every season with Gold Glove defense, and already in his 12 seasons of play has over 300 home runs, 300 doubles, close to 1,000 RBIs, and a 279 average with a 339 on base, 490 slugging, and 829 OPS. He's a guy who might hit 500 home runs in his career. Gonna steal over 100 bases and play Gold Glove defense, clear Hall of Famer for me. If things go right, Machado's a very easy Hall of Famer. For the Baltimore Orioles, their most likely Hall of Famer on their roster right now to me is gonna be Adley Rutschman. While Adley did come up a little bit later in his career at age 24, he's in a pretty elite class right now of catchers in baseball history. A little bit arbitrary, but in players under the age of 25 that have played 50% of games at catcher and accumulated more than 8.6 B-WAR, Adley Rutschman has by far played the least amount of games at 235. Next closest was Mike Piazza, Carlton Fisk, Buster Posey. Those are some of the names inside that list. There are some other names on this list that aren't Hall of Famers, but that's why I think that makes Adley most likely on the Orioles right now, is he's at least in the same company as some of the greatest catchers of all time early on in his career. And we've already seen Adley improve this year, defensively, offensively, I mean, just all around. Such a good player, a huge reason why the Orioles have been so successful. Adley Rutschman living up to that #1 overall pick hype, could be a Hall of Famer someday. For the Atlanta Braves, I'm gonna go with Ronald Acuna Jr. Acuna is just, he's so disgustingly good. I mean, the fact that he's able to hit for power, he's cut down the strikeouts, gets on base more than ever, stealing 60 bases this year, and still with plenty to go. You're looking at a guy who might do 35 and 70 stolen bases this year, with 1,000 OPS, getting on base like crazy. The defense has obviously gone back a step, but you don't really care when you mash like Ronald Acuna, and at age 25, he already has 24 baseball reference WAR, which again, puts him right on track to be one of the best players in baseball history, a guy who will probably make his way to Cooperstown when he's done playing. Acuna's electric. I hate that he's on the Braves, because wow, I'd love to root for this guy. He's so good. For the Detroit Tigers, it's easy. It's Miguel Cabrera. What do you need to know about Miggy? 3,149 hits, 509 home runs, 622 doubles, 1,868 RBIs, a career average of 307, 383 with a 519 slugging, and a 902 OPS. He's won 2 MVP awards. He's won a Triple Crown, a World Series champion, Silver Sluggers, batting titles. The list goes on and on. Miggy's one of the best hitters that I've ever got to see in my lifetime. A clear Hall of Famer when his time comes. A little more abstract here with the San Francisco Giants. I'm going with their closer, Camilo Doval. In 2 seasons, Doval has already got 63 saves in his career. Now, this isn't groundbreaking. This isn't out of control, but it's on pace with many guys who also could find their way into the Hall of Fame someday. And we know for closers, it's an accumulation number. You just got to get a ton of saves. And the Giants seem like a team that's going to be competitive, going to be good, going to be in a lot of close games, a lot of opportunity for Camilo Doval to get saves. Plus, not to mention, there's just not really that many great choices on the Giants right now. It's between him and Logan Webb, and I wanted to get crazy and go with the young closer, Camilo Doval. So again, you rattle off like 400 saves, you give yourself a good chance. But yeah, it's going to take some time. This one is going to be probably one of the less likely. Back to the AL Central, another easy choice. Kansas City Royals, most likely Hall of Famer right now, Zach Greinke. Zach Greinke's had a Hall of Fame career, 76.7 career B-WAR. He's won a Cy Young, 6-time All-Star, also a great fielding pitcher, 6-time Gold Glove Award winner, and he could also swing it a little bit, won 2 Silver Sluggers. Greinke's pitched 20 seasons, 224 wins, a 3.49 ERA with over 3,300 innings pitched in Major League Baseball, a career whip at 1.169, nice. Striking out just under 3,000 batters in his career at 2960. Greinke is a quiet king, a bit of a cult hero nowadays, and someone I expect to see in Cooperstown. Another pitcher that is going to get to Cooperstown whenever his career ends, that's going to be Justin Verlander of the Houston Astros. Talk about a Hall of Fame career. Justin Verlander's done it all. He's won the Cy Young Award 3 times. He's won an MVP, Rookie of the Year, pitching Triple Crown, 9-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, won the ERA title twice, 253 wins on his career, an ERA at 3.24, and over 3,200 innings pitched. A 1.12 whip for his career is just absolutely disgusting. 3,300 strikeouts, a career ERA plus at 132, and a baseball reference WAR at 80. Justin Verlander's no doubt Hall of Famer, and he's probably the best chance baseball has right now for a pitcher to get 300 wins. It's unlikely, but if he can pitch until he's like 43, 44, we're gonna be getting close. For the Minnesota Twins, it's actually a former Astro, Carlos Correa. Low-key, Carlos Correa's career is very much on the path of a Hall of Famer. At age 28, he's already accumulated 40.8 8.8 B WAR, and at the shortstop position, that already puts him inside the top 20 shortstops of all time in terms of Baseball Reference WAR. If he continues having a strong career, he could be on the path to Hall of Fame, no doubt, similar to the careers of a guy like Barry Larkin. Just an all-around good player, good glove, good bat. While he has struggled a bit this season in Minnesota, it's been a weird one. Correa is still, in his first 9 years, has 170 homers, 200 doubles, 600 RBIs with an 822 career OPS and an OPS plus at 125. He's got a World Series ring already. He's a multiple-time All-Star Platinum Glove. There's very much a world where Carlos Correa makes it to Cooperstown. Yeah, so for the Tampa Bay Rays, you probably could have guessed who I would have picked, but in light of some new news, I'm not going to say that guy's name, so instead I went with Isaac Paredes, I guess? Yeah, this one's weird, guys. He's not making the Hall of Fame. At least it doesn't really seem likely. But Spin Zone, in the 2 seasons he has played with the Rays, he has accumulated around 6 to 7 WAR depending on Baseball Reference Fangraphs numbers, and he has absolutely mashed. So yeah, if Isaac Paredes continues to mash like he has the past 2 years until he's about age 39 to 40, you might be talking about a guy who has some conversation to get into Cooperstown. Problem is, he is so young, and we really haven't seen too much out of Isaac Paredes just yet. It's probably unlikely, but what a year he's having this season. 26 homers, 80 RBIs, and OPS plus at 140. Hit 26 home runs for the next 15 years. If Isaac Paredes can hit 20 home runs for the next 15 years, he's gonna have 300 home runs in his career. Let's see what happens with him. I don't know who's the better choice. For the Seattle Mariners, I'm so excited to talk about J-Rod. What a year he's ended up having. Started off super slow, and then of course got out of control hot like a week or two ago. At the age of 22, we've already seen Julio Rodriguez put up 11 B WAR in his career. He's great defensively in center field. He won the Rookie of the Year. He's gonna win an MVP, I'm sure, at some point in his career. He's just so disgustingly good. The power's there. The speed's there. Gets on base. Slugging. Batting average. Any way you slice it, Julio Rodriguez is a 5-tool player, and he's only 22 years of age as long as his career keeps going in the right direction. Health-wise, production-wise, Julio Rodriguez is gonna be one of the better center fielder we've ever watched. Yeah, so for the Chicago Cubs, I guess it's Cody Bellinger? It's like either him or Dansby Swanson, and I feel like Bellinger being younger and just having a better career already is the best chance out of anybody on the Cubs right now, which feels weird considering he got non-tendered this past offseason, and granted, completely revitalized his career, having an unbelievable season with the Cubs, 20 homers, 20 doubles, 916 OPS, and through 7 seasons, age 27-year-old season, you're looking at a guy who's just under 200 home runs at 172, 155 doubles, close to 500 RBIs and 80 stolen bases, with a career OPS at 831. He's already won an MVP, he's won a Rookie of the Year. I don't think it's likely that he's gonna make the Hall of Fame, but there's a world where Cody Bellinger is back, and if Cody Bellinger's back, he's at a young enough age where he can accumulate some big-time numbers, and all of a sudden start to put together a Hall of Fame-ish type career. He's great in center field. If the bat is actually back, why not Belly? At least the most likely on the Cubs. For the Arizona Diamondbacks, their most likely player to make the Hall of Fame, Evan Longoria, which feels weird because you're never going to associate him with this team if he ever eventually makes it. Right now, he is the most likely player on this roster. Longoria's played 16 seasons in which he has 342 home runs, 431 doubles, and a 1,155 RBIs, hitting 265 with a 333 on base, 473 slugging, and 806 OPS plus at 120. Gives him a career B WAR at 58.9, which is pretty solid. And if you look at players who have played at least 50% of their games at third base in their career, Evan Longoria is 14th in terms of all third basemen there in B WAR at 58.9. So he is going to need some more years here to get those numbers up to be someone who should make the Hall of Fame. But he's for sure in the conversation of Hall of Really Good. Let's see how Longoria ends his career. Definitely was one of the great third basemen, though, of this era. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, they have like 5 different options, but I went with the most likely right now, and that would be Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw is just one of the most dominant pitchers we've ever seen, one of the best left-handed pitchers of all time. In his 16-year career, 208 wins, a 2.48 ERA, which is the lowest ERA among active pitchers, 2,600 innings pitched, a whip at 1.002, a FIP at 2.80, ERA plus 157. He's won 3 Cy Young Awards, an MVP, a pitching triple crown, 10-time All-Star, asterisk next to World Series champion. He's won a Gold Glove, 5-time ERA title. He finished inside the top 5 of the Cy Young voting for like 8 straight seasons. He's one of the best pitchers this game has ever seen, and even at 35, still doing it. 2.52 ERA. Clayton Kershaw is a clear Hall of Famer. For the Miami Marlins, I guess Sandy Alcantara? Sure, let's go with Sandy. He's one of those guys that I have a feeling you're gonna look back on his career and be like, whoa, he just pitched a lot. He's well on track for another 200 inning season with the Marlins this year, and if you take out the COVID year, he's averaging like 207 innings a season. He's also a good pitcher. Like, he started the year off rough, but overall in his career is a 3.31 ERA, just under 900 innings pitched, will finish with over 900 this season, a whip at 1.152. He's won a Cy Young Award already. If he mixes in 1 or 2 more, he's very much in the conversation, and he's only 28 years old. So yes, Sandy has a lot of work to do. Being able to accumulate 20 WAR so far through his 28-year-old season and just how many innings he eats on top of being a good pitcher, there's very much a world where we look at Sandy when he's like 42 and go, oh, that was really good. He's one of the best pitchers during that time period. Okay, we're on the Nationals, and I'm currently picking a player that has accumulated 3.1 WAR in his career, 3 of which came this season, and that guy would be CJ Abrams. I'm strictly going off of talent and age, and he's the perfect combination, although it's going to be really, really tough. I will say, though, CJ Abrams has completely turned it around this season. It's a tale of 2 seasons. First half was not great for CJ, but in the second half, he's shown a lot more power, stealing more bases, getting on base more, an OPS right around 800 in the second half, which is very good for a 22-year-old shortstop and a guy who's just basically got this position on lock for the next 6-7 years. So if he keeps playing good shortstop, keeps hitting, maybe CJ Abrams will get there one day, a guy who could be an accumulator because he started so young. For the Cincinnati Reds, while they have a ton of fun young players, Joey Votto is the obvious choice here. Joey Votto is going to make it to the Hall of Fame, one of the best first basemen of my generation, won an MVP, 6-time All-Star, Gold Glove Award winner, walk king. I mean, the guy's got a career on-base percentage above 400 at 410. He's basically a 300 hitter for his career, 2 at 295, 922 OPS, 355 home runs, so maybe by the end of his career, he gets to 400, which I really think would solidify his Hall of Fame case. Over 1,100 RBIs. He's even stole 80 bases, which is a fun little stat for him. Joey Votto wasn't really ever this guy that made you go like, wow, this is one of the greatest players I've ever seen. But in terms of Cooperstown and first baseman during that early 2010s era, there wasn't many players better than Joey Votto. He was such a stud. For the Milwaukee Brewers, how about Christian Yelich? Low-key back this year, an 825 OPS, and relatively speaking, he has never been bad. It was just he wasn't as good as he was during his MVP seasons, because those MVP seasons were crazy. Like, if he kept that up, oh yeah, he's easily the choice for the Brewers' most likely Hall of Famer on this current roster. Right now, the production has slowed down, especially in the power department, but Christian Yelich is getting close to 200 home runs in his career, 300 doubles, and 700 RBIs, while also almost stealing 200 bases. 287 career average, 376 on base, 465 slugging, and 841 OPS for an OPS plus at 129. He's won the MVP award. Gonna need some more All-Stars, gonna need some more Silver Sluggers, gonna need some more big seasons, obviously, to ever reach that Hall of Fame status. But in 11 seasons, racking up 39.3 baseball reference WAR, not a bad career at all for Christian Yelich, and definitely the most likely guy on this roster right now. Pittsburgh Pirates, also a bit of a tough choice here. I ended up going with the veteran, Andrew McCutchen. Now, it's gonna be unlikely that Andrew McCutchen makes the Hall of Fame, but he has had a fantastic career, and he'll definitely get some votes, I think. Obviously won the MVP back in 2013, and had an incredible 4-year stretch where he finished inside the top 5 every single season in MVP voting, also won 4 Silver Sluggers in a row, 5-time All-Star, Gold Glove Award. Andrew McCutchen was such a great player. As he's gotten older, the game has changed, but he's still putting up pretty good numbers, and overall for his career, over 2,000 hits, 1 home run off of 300, over 400 doubles, stole over 200 bases, and hit 276 with the 369 on base, 466 slugging, 835 OPS for his career. Andrew McCutchen, very, very good player, close to 50 baseball reference WAR for his career. Just because of his new role and how he's probably going to platoon for the rest of his career, it's going to be tough to get that much higher, but what a fantastic career he's had. Hey, what do you know? Another former Met making this list. The Texas Rangers' most likely Hall of Famer is Max Scherzer, 3-time Cy Young Award winner, 8-time All-Star, 2019 World Series champion, one of the best pitchers I've ever seen in my lifetime. Max Scherzer is an absolute stud. From 2013 to 2019, the lowest Max Scherzer ever finished on Cy Young Award voting was 5th, and that was with the Tigers and Nationals in 14 and 15. Otherwise, in that span, he won 3 Cy Young Awards, finished 2nd, finished 3rd, MVP votes, leading the league in innings pitched, strikeouts, you name it, Max Scherzer has done it. 213 wins in his career, 16 seasons, 2,800 innings pitched, a 3.14 ERA with a whip at 1.078, disgusting, struck out over 3,300 batters in his career, an ERA plus at 134, and he's got a baseball reference WAR at 74.5, someone who will finish with close to 80 in his career, if not over it. Max Scherzer, yeah, clear Hall of Famer. It's not even a debate. Speaking of the Mets, let's talk about their most likely Hall of Famer on their team. It's gonna be Francisco Lindor, casually putting up a career that could be on a Hall of Fame career path. I know Lindor had that weird 2020-2021 stretch where he was just kind of an average player, but the last 2 seasons with the Mets, he's been one of the best shortstops in baseball, on top of an incredible start to his career with Cleveland. Lindor in 9 seasons has 200 home runs, 261 doubles, 659 RBIs, and 147 stolen bases, hitting 275 with a 342 on base, 473 slugging, and 815 OPS for an OPS plus at 117. The hitting numbers don't necessarily jump off the page, but there's a world where Francisco Lindor hits around 350 to 400 home runs in his career, stealing 300 bases while playing some of the best defense at shortstop we have ever seen. Defensively, he's absolutely elite, and that's what makes him so special. This year, he's accumulated 5.1 baseball reference WAR, and for his career, he's at 41.8. If he gets to that 70-75 WAR number, you're looking at a guy who's going to have a really good case at the Hall of Fame, and if he hits 400 home runs and plays the defense like he did while playing shortstop, yeah, Francisco Lindor's making the Hall of Fame on that track. Just a really good good player, but he still has some stuff to prove, for sure. For the Boston Red Sox, it's Kenley Jansen. Did you know Kenley Jansen is 7th all-time in Major League Baseball in saves at 420? That's ahead of guys like Dennis Eckersley, Raleigh Fingers, Goose Gossage, all guys who are Hall of Famers. Kenley Jansen has just low-key been one of the best closers of all time in Major League Baseball history. 420 saves. That's absolutely disgusting. Kenley Jansen has had a great career. 2.48 ERA in 812 games, 810 innings pitched. A career whip under 1 at .951. That's lower than Billy Wagner, who for sure should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way. 12.8 Ks per 9, 5.9 hits per 9. Like, Kenley is so disgusting quietly. One of the best closers we've ever seen. St. Louis Cardinals got a couple choices here, but I think Nolan Arenado is the most likely out of all of them to get into the Hall of Fame. You're looking at a guy who's a future first ballot Hall of Famer. One of the best all-around third basemen this game has ever seen. 8-time All-Star, 10-time Gold Glove Award winner, 5-time Silver Slugger, 6-time Platinum Glove Award winner. That is the best fielder in the entire sport. Now, some of his numbers are a little inflated because he played in Coors, but in 11 years, Nolan Arenado has 325 home runs, 362 doubles, and over 1,000 RBIs, hitting .288 with a 345 on base, 532 slugging, and 877 OPS. Nolan Arenado might hit 500 home runs in his career, and with that glove and that bat and just the career longevity that he's had, the resume is way too good to keep him out of the Hall of Fame. He's already got 55.1 WAR in his career, well on track to be one of the best third basemen and a clear-cut Hall of Famer. And then last, but maybe least, for the Oakland A's, Zach Geloff. I mean, I don't know who you want me to pick. Zach Geloff's going to be the guy. You want to know why? Because in 35 games, he's got 1.8 WAR. So keep that pace. Zach Geloff's going to be one of the best players to ever play this game. In 136 at-bats, he has 10 homers, 11 doubles, 19 RBIs, and 8 stolen bases, hitting .294 with a 360 on base, 610 slugging, and a 970 OPS. There are no other choices, really, that are going to work here. He's kind of the best player on their team right now. And if we're talking about most likely, the 23-year-old who's off to a historic start to his career, I'll take my chances with him. Thank you guys so much for watching. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video, and this is my most recent upload. Click through those. I promise you'll like them. YouTube's like, hey, watch them. They're good. That's where I'll wrap it up, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for another one. Bye.